All right, so welcome everyone to our next setup, which is the impact upon the ground because of the ground dust explosion. So here is the final fluids for the ground dust impact. So here you can see that after the explosion that just happened, these are the another, the impacts, which is the, expansion, or you can say the pop-up of the dust because of the explosions. So here in this case, you may could see that I've also provided, a gravity field over here because these fluids are still, rising upwards a little bit, despite of the fact I've given the negative buoyancy to that. Because of some turbulence and the gradient for these fluids tend to rise upwards. So to keep them calm and a little bit lower, we are required to give the gravity field as well. Okay. So this is the reaction which we're going to achieve. This is the second phase of our course. Okay. So let's start with this one. All right, so here inside with the Maya, and now let's get started with the creating the emitter again. Again, we like to go with the classic particles. We are not required to go with the N particles. So with this, we like to go with the higher rate, let's say 3000 at the beginning. And for this, I need to create the cylindrical emitter. Let's create that one. Pretty much okay. Let me just gonna reduce the size from the y-axis. And if you're gonna play that up, you could see that obviously the motion of the particles are pretty slow, and we don't want them to be in that way. So what I could do, I could crank up the values of the away from axis to, let's say, 60. So we're gonna give a very high value, and speed to the particles pretty good. Now if we're gonna grab and select the particles, we may could work on the conserve value, let's say 0.98. We're also gonna give some stable values of the particles. Okay, pretty much nice. But still, the two things which are bothering me up is the expansion of the fluids. Is that going to be the 360 all over the surface? Well, the answer is no, because we don't want the fluids to get, rise from the backside, because there is, first of all, no visibility of the fluids. So just to avoid unnecessary computations, we may going to end up with a good solution, that is to utilize the volume sweep. If I'm going to go for 200, you could see that I can start working in that way. So with that, the fluid will not going to expand. Okay. Now the next issue is that how do I going to address the the age of the particles? Well, the age of the particles is never going to be live forever. We're going to crank that up to the random range, and let's say the lifespan will going to be 0.35. That's the best value I have found, and the particles will gonna die out quickly without any issues. Okay, we just forgot to rate it down. So the rate will going to be key with 3000 at the beginning, and it will gonna end at frame 6, so maybe at frame 8. All right, both these reactions got them rate at 8 and absolutely fine. So here you could see that the particles are pretty good. They are moving very, very good. And this is the way the ground dust will going to get expand. Okay. So this was the basic rig setup for our lesson. And I hope so. It's pretty much simple. The rig setup has been, established. Now it's time to move to the next lesson, where we're going to start creating the fluid emitter, and we're going to attach these particles to the fluids. All right. So move ahead.